Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
I have my favorite person with me.
Aviana is actually sleeping.
Is sleeping. You are my favorite person. I thought it would be fun. Hi, Tori. I thought it would be fun to bring him on because you see me all the time, and he has been the most supportive person from the beginning. So we thought it would be fun if we just kind of give the behind the scenes, kind of have him answer some questions we've talked through. And I just thought it would be fun for you to get the feel of what it's like from the husband of an oil person. So we're just going to go through because I'm going to record this and then it's going to be a playback, and I want to keep it as smooth as possible for the person watching. So we're going to give just kind of, like I said, he's been the most supportive person from the beginning, been so much of my cheerleader, and has been very forward and just with how encouraging he is. He listens to me all the time. So I just really appreciate for him to even come on here and take the time to talk with you guys like I do every day. So we're just going to dive right in and just go through some questions we thought would be helpful for anyone who is curious to know what it's like from the husband. So the first question is just kind of give a background of who you are and who is Dane, what's important to you. So
Yeah.
take the mic. And we're having tea time. So this is tea time with the Kurtz.
Yeah, I'm Dane, and 28 years old.
Oh, we're giving ages.
Just trying to think who am I? I'm 4 years younger than you, I think,
Yeah,
right?
4 years younger.
Not as big of a deal now, but when we met, I was 16 and you were 20. So we got a lot of jokes about that when we first met. But the older you get, the less it matters. So I don't know. Cougar. That's really what I'm trying to say. We've been married 8 years?
Here, speak up so I can hear you.
8 years. A dad for 2 now, and I'm the type of person that everything I do, I take ridiculously seriously, like too seriously probably. And if you know that about me, that basically sums it up. I have time for, everything I do, I want to do exceptionally well. So being a husband, being a father, being an employee of a growing software company, that's basically all my time and attention goes to those 3 things. So I work as a product manager, designing software products to sell to financial advisors that they use with their clients to help them invest. And I'm extremely, extremely invested in what our company's doing. I love finance and investing, and so every day I go to work to try and solve problems for customers that are trying to streamline their business operations. And so I'm learning a lot about how to sell software, how to grow a business, how to build products. And I think that, is what makes this so fun, because her running an oils business is very similar. And so, I think our who am I? I'm just an average dad, trying to be the best husband, best father, and best employee that I can be. So, yeah.
Okay, so next question. What's it like to be a husband of an oiler?
Well...
Or me, as an oiler.
Yeah. It's been unreal for us. I can only speak for us, right? So you've made it in a sense. That's kind of awkward to say, right? I don't know how to talk about that without sounding cocky or something like that, but you've done really well for yourself. And so, I'm stoked that you are a stay-at-home mom, also running a successful business, generating meaningful income for our family without compromising on raising our daughter. I think getting into this...
How about the lifestyle?
Yeah, I didn't know what this would entail when we got started. So I think you know, when
We're using the products.
Yeah, so I think when we jumped into this, I had done. So let me just like, you know, get right into the meat of it. So when we started talking about her doing this business, you know, obviously we addressed the reality that this is a multi-level marketing business or a network marketing business. I had done one of those at 19 years old. I joined a network marketing company where I was selling term life insurance, small term life insurance policies that would basically cover someone's mortgage and pay off their mortgage in the event that they passed away early, right? And I got licensed. I'd spent a ton of money and time to get certified. I didn't really realize though, through the whole like certification process, that once I got certified, I was going to have to purchase my own leads. So this company would basically send out direct mail to individual, you know, homeowners. And if those homeowners sent back in a response, said, yes, I'm interested in life insurance from, you know, mortgage insurance, as they called it, then I would get, you know, access to those leads, but I'd have to pay like $85 a pop for them, or I don't remember the dollar amount, but it was a lot of money for a 19-year-old working in and out at the time, right? It was like a whole day's worth of wages to go buy one of these leads. So I didn't necessarily have a sour taste in my mouth from MLMs at all, right? I just knew that there was going to be an investment or an upfront cost to get started into this business. And so, you know, I just didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to be the kind of thing where, you know, we were going to spend a whole bunch of money to just try an experiment. But I think, you know, what I also didn't know is how much work it would entail.
So let me, for those of you who are watching that don't know, I started the business and the lifestyle in one. So that's what he's talking about. If when I came to him and said, okay, I think that I want to do this all in, all of it. For me, I process internally, and then I'm like, when I speak it and I come to him and our money's involved, I feel deeply that this is what I'm supposed to do. So for him, what he's talking about is just when I came to him, I had already mentally made a decision, but wanted him included, obviously, because it would affect us and our finances. But I was investing in the lifestyle, partnering with the business, which is not how everyone does it. A lot of people actually just enjoy the products and then gradually progress into doing a business. But for me, it was all in one. So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. And so we jumped into this together, not knowing what to expect. And again, I didn't know how much work it would entail. And over the last 3 years now, I think it's been, we've had every day, you know, we have conversations every night before bed. It's 20 to 30 minutes, you know.
Because I think about it all the time.
Of listening.
I love all of this. Helping people, business. I love using the products. We talk about what we're going to order. So we're a little obsessed. I'm a little obsessed. I'm super focused on it. It has integrated into our lifestyle so perfectly. So for someone else, it might look a lot different. But for me, I am all in. Like, I love this business and I love these products and I love talking with him about strategy and love just talking about how I can help people. So that's what he's talking about is he hears and we talk about everything. So he hears all of it.
So it's been, I guess all that to say, it's been like a cakewalk, right? Because for me, it's been a cakewalk. She's put all the work in, right? But like, we started this, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that I failed at an MLM, but I trust her completely. So I was super excited to see what she could pull off. And like, I've just basically sat here, listened, and cheered her on, and she's made a tremendous, you know, success of, you know, everything she's touched in the last 4 years. So I don't know if that's, you know, the norm. I think statistically it's probably not, but it's been great for me.
Okay, but our lifestyle, like, what does it look like?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting because
as an oils person.
Yeah.
So this question I thought would be interesting because I think when you think of like someone who uses, hi Emily, who uses oils or is crunchy, or like, what does that look like? You kind of want to sneak peek into, you know, the hippie lifestyle, or what is that, you know, how does that pan out for the husband? Do they actually use the products? So talking about this question, what does it look like the day to day? Like, we'll get into his favorites, kind of give you the breakdown of that, but how do you feel about like what I use around you? And our lifestyle has changed. You know, we use we use so many things. So, you know, you use the cleaning products, and you are in our daily life. We are both using a lot of products from Young Living. It's not just me having this secret cabinet of oils and my husband not enjoying them, or, you know, I don't have to keep this private. Like, this is a lifestyle that we've created together. We walked in it together, and it's made a huge difference in having it for our daughter. So the lifestyle, what does that, you're in support, but like,
so when we started purchasing essential oils, every item, so like if you think of, just make like an inventory of all the household items you purchase, you know, month to month.
you mean like normal, regular
Yeah,
purchase,
like with
cleaning
pre-oils,
products
right?
and-
Pre-oils, we had this giant inventory of things we would buy month to month. And, you know, as we started integrating essential oils into our life, and it's not just essential oils, it's all of the Young Living products, right? Because there's such a there's a big product suite that they offer. Every time we would start to swap one of the things in our like main inventory for like a Young Living product or an essential oil based product, it would be like I would do like a you know, have to like double click on that, to use the expression of like, okay, well, what are we spending, you know,
Comparison.
more money on? You know, why are we spending, you know,
The
X
transition
dollars more on
times.
this?
Yeah.
So initially, which is so bizarre, because why we got into this business is because we were 4 years ago, we started on this journey of like transitioning our life into like holistic wellness, meaning we believe wholeheartedly that there are two things that matter in terms of taking care of your body. It's what you put in your body and what you put on your body. Of course, exercise is like a big part of longevity and health, but like the thing that matters most to hormonal regulation, emotional regulation, like proper development, good brain functioning, proper like preventative care is all about what goes in and what goes on your body.
And around atmosphere, environment,
Which
toxins
which
or
I
lack
would,
of toxins.
which I would include in the like what goes on your body in a
Okay.
sense, right? And so like, did I believe that in theory? Yes, but in practice, that actually cost dollars to make that transition, right? We all know that eating organic is more expensive than eating regular food. So early on, it was just like every time, you know, laundry detergent or toothpaste or deodorant would be on the list, it's like, oh gosh, we're gonna spend how much? Old Spice costs like 42 cents at the Dollar Tree or whatever, right? But
there's a mental shift.
Oh, for sure. But now it's like, well, we buy these things, you know, like why wouldn't we purchase these things? And so I feel like we've made the successful like shift of integrating these healthy products into our life. And now like I don't worry about my hormone, like for me as a 28-year-old man, like I'm quickly approaching 35, and there's a lot of literature that talks about like testosterone production starts to like get less efficient as you approach 35 and into your 40s. And so for me, I'm just thinking like, I want high T. Like I just want it to be easy to build muscle, and I want energy for my kids. And a big part of that is like proper hormonal, you know, functioning as a man, which means high testosterone. And so I love that I'm not putting, you know, estrogen based, you know, skincare products on in the shower. I love that I, you know, am now enlightened to not using certain colognes and deodorants that, you know, like have negative impacts on your hormones. So for me, it's just been, you know, it's amazing. And again, like I'm spoiled rotten. I don't think about these things now. Like at first I just had to like approve that, yes, we can like expand the balance sheet and spending more on health and wellness.
Well,
but
I feel like, wouldn't you say, well, maybe, I don't know. I feel like that's really often for women. We're the ones that, since we're the ones typically shopping for things, we're the ones that are faced with the decisions like which products to buy, and we're more in tune with maybe reading about what's good for the kids or things like that. And so I feel like for a lot of men, unless they seek out information, probably having to do with fitness, they might not tap into this awareness of what their products are doing to them. Anyways, so I feel like really often it is the woman who typically brings this up, and unless the guy is seeking out information that he wouldn't come across this information in a decision as much as a woman would, unless he was like in charge of all the groceries or all the products, which I've always been. So
the original question was what's it like to be married to an oiler? And so something else that's relevant here is that I love the natural accountability mechanism that her running a essential oils business is like her brand is being built around like supporting and promoting like health and wellness for your body, right? Which again is manifested in what you put in your body and what you put on your body, and of course sprinkle some exercise in there, right? Shout out to all the personal trainers that are watching. So like, you know, those are the three ingredients to, and the nutritionist, but that's what goes in your body, right? So it's like, if I'm eating cake 3 nights a week, you know, there's like a net, which I don't, right? But if I were to, or nights that I have splurged in the past few months, like I have this amazing accountability mechanism of like, whoa, I just did something that's not in like alignment with the life that we're trying to live. Right? Like and we've just gone to like an extreme there where, you know, our daughter doesn't eat processed foods. And there's been times where we look at each other when we're eating a processed food in front of our daughter who we don't feed processed foods, and we're like, wow, this is like not on brand. Like, we gotta stop. We can't do this. This is, you know, hypocritical to our beliefs. And again, no judgment to anybody who does eat processed food. Like, that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about what's been so amazing about this business is that like she's just been so laser focused on believing and like living, you know, living every aspect of health and wellness. And I love just being constantly anchored to the reminders. And that's what happens when you're building a business in this space. So,
yeah.
Sorry for rambling there. Pretty good at that.
So in other words, we're living what we're talking. I'm not getting on here and advertising something that we're not representing in our life and taking wholeheartedly as a conviction. We really care about this stuff. We rarely care about, like what he said, what we put on our bodies around. All of it matters, and we're living that out. Okay, next question. Oh wait, you kind of already, is there anything, so that there was another question that he kind of answered, but just in case you have anything else, do you have anything to add to what's it like to be married to someone building a business?
Yeah, this one's fun to talk about because, again, I'm spoiled. I'm married to someone who has made it in the business, if you will, and so it's kind of fun to just sit and then reflect on, you know, what it's taken for her to get here. And there's a term called like armchair quarterback, which is like you just sit there and yell about what the person should have done, you know, and you know, so I've got to armchair quarterback a lot of her success, right, and so it's just fun to like reflect but ultimately I have like very, you know, the thing I can say is like, I think the idea of work-life balance is kind of a misnomer. I don't know if there's such thing as work-life balance. I think the you work hard and you play hard is probably like a more helpful heuristic to use when like trying to figure out how to balance life. She works so hard when she works, just goes hard. And so there are totally Saturdays where it's like, oh yeah, I'm off work that day. So, you know, but she's on the whole day.
Well, on just means available. So
yeah, lots of voxing,
ready for my team
and talking to people, and we'll be on a walk, and there's moments where Aviana and I are 10 yards ahead, you know, picking up rocks and looking at ladybugs while she's behind us on the phone. And like, I've never even thought twice about like that being a problem, because like then this, like the next week, you know, she'll be like 100% engaged on Saturday and Sunday because just the rhythm of the business is such that she didn't have to be on. And so like, I think what it's so interesting being married to someone who has built a successful business, but has like still kept our family at the heart of all of this. But I think I'd say that
so basically you'd say like, there's a lot of freedom, but it's, you just get to decide the pockets of time that you're going to give to which parts of the business is basically, right? Do you have anything else to add to that?
I know. I think my takeaway is like, it's just easy because you work so hard and you do everything. And
well, I think it's really helped for us, two things for us, for our marriage, for anyone on here that's doing business that might be curious. A lot of communication. So he's never blindsided by what I'm doing and when I'm doing and what time I'm taking to do things. I'm home all the time with Aviana, our daughter, and if there's ever an opportunity or a pocket of time where I am distracted, he knows ahead of time why. And then the other thing is, I mean, from the beginning, he's been a part of this and part of the decision. So none of this is surprising to him. We were aware of the changes in schedules, and some months are just busier than others, and you're helping people. So when the reality of, being married to someone with this type of business is, it's a lifestyle job. So I get to help people when they need help, when they have questions, and I get to decide what boundaries look a certain way and how to run that out. And so, I don't know. Hopefully this is fun to hear. If you're interested in the business or not, that you get a little insight into what's important to us in this whole thing. So, I think for us, it's just been really helpful that one, he was completely all in support at the beginning, and then two, is we communicate about everything. So the work-life balance with married to me is just comes with being married to me. If it wasn't this, I would be doing other things that I'd be communicating with him about. So it's been really helpful to just talk ahead, and then we get to decide what I'm going to do and how much I'm going to do, and carry that. So, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I feel like now that I'm thinking about these questions more, it's like basically I would just the answer to all of these is like, you're amazing and you've made this so easy for us. So it's been a cakewalk. What's it?
Well, it helps to have support. So definitely, however you can get on the same page, if you're trying to get into any kind of business, anyone would know this if they've experienced the tension, is find a way to be on the same page. So that's how one part of how I've been able to do this is that if I didn't have the support, you would always have that nagging question of, is it even okay that I'm successful in this because my other half isn't wanting me to do this? But I haven't had that. So I've had mental freedom of, he's in support, financially he's in support, and just going all in with this business. So, and did you want to share on, so kind of I skipped a question, so I'm going to go back to it, but do you remember what you thought when I told you I wanted to start a multi-level marketing business? So he's kind of covered this question, but there are some things that I thought you want to revisit of like, the hesitation, like not, the upfront cost, but then also additional.
So like I mentioned earlier, I did an MLM when I was 19. It's been almost 10 years, and I know that for me there was a high upfront capital investment to really get off the ground. I was going to have to spend a lot of money to try and build the flywheel, to establish myself and actually be able to make a living doing the MLM. And so when she first came to me and said, hey, I'm really interested in this business, it's an MLM. My first thought was, oh gosh, like what's the capital? I had two thoughts initially. One, what's the upfront capital investment that it's going to take for us to do this? I don't think there would be a number that would like take it off the table, right? I really trust her. I know she works so hard at whatever she does. But that was my first thought. And the second one was, okay, well, yeah, I'm super excited for you to do this because you want to. And like I said, she's the type of person that anything she wants to do, she's going to do it. And like that doesn't mean like she's going to do it like defiantly. She's going to like be successful at it. It's in her blood. Her dad's the same way, and her sisters. It's just who she is, the family she comes from. But the other thing was, we need to be sensitive to the impact that this could have on like our circle, our immediate circle of influence. So like everybody knows that sometimes people join MLMs and they basically like force everybody in their life to make a decision about either buying their products or not. And they push hard until they get that decision. And sometimes it drives people away. And so like my natural two questions were, okay, well, how much it's going to cost and how many relationships, do we risk, by jumping into this?
His question, his first talk, I guess, was let's sit down and figure out how do we go about this with still keeping relationships priority? Because another way to say what he's talking about is when, if you have not experienced any negativity with MLMs, then totally disregard this. But both of us have had, even outside of what he's talking about, people who have made every interaction an exchange for their business, a transaction. And so it was really important to us from the beginning that that was not the way people would feel in relationship with us. So every time they would hang out with us, they were not getting, pitched about business or products. We use them in our daily life. We live with these things, like we live with this conviction of this type of lifestyle, but they weren't, like, we wanted to make sure from the beginning that our heart was positioned in a place where people were still priority over the transaction. So
yeah, there's it's tricky when you're running a business.
But that's kind of with any business too. Is anyone building their own business, if you are anyone that's trying to, right? Wouldn't you say, with marketing?
Well, I mean, it's just, there's different businesses where different levels of aggressiveness, if you
Right,
will,
that's
of
true.
sales are like taller. Like, okay, for my company, for example, we have what we call an outbound sales force that emails financial advisors who aren't customers of ours, and they email them until they get a response. Either a, please never email me again, right? Or please take me off of your mailing list, or yes, I would love to book a demo and view your product. Like, we have, again, sales reps that like demand an answer. So
selling.
like that hard selling, like, which is a total viable way to build a business in the United States.
Right.
So like, so I'm not, when she told me she wanted to build a business,
hard sell.
I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, like, can be pretty aggressive at times, with things she's passionate about. I wonder if this means that
Let's
she's going to
be
go
bold.
Yeah. I wonder if she's going to like go to everybody who's on our Facebook friends list and like email them or Facebook message them
Cold call.
until like they say I'm either buying oils from you or I'm not, right? Obviously that's not the way that this business works, right? You're just sharing what you're passionate about, but I didn't know that. So all this to say, like, that was my initial response when she told me she wanted to do this, was like, oh gosh, what does this mean for our friends in our bank account? So what actually ended up happening, right? Well, first of all, I love the compensation structure of Young Living. I think it's amazing. I love the fact that you don't have to stock product. If she had to drop 15 grand to buy product.
So, yeah, okay.
So there's a lot of MLMs, right, that you have to drop 10 G's or 15 grand, literally like your entire down payment savings that you've been working on for a house for the last 5 years, you have to go get because you need to buy product. And then it just sits in a closet, and then you're stressed out of your mind when you've only sold 10% of it, right? Like, I'm so thankful Young Living is basically like a referral link. Like, if someone buys products through the link you send them, you get a commission on that, and a bonus. And like, you're practically just like sending around, like Amazon links, and if people buy their products they're going to buy anyways and they just happen to use your link to log into Amazon and buy it, like, you get paid. Like, that is the easiest, low friction, zero risk, amazing way to set up an MLM structure. So like, I absolutely love and support that about this business. I think Young Living has done an amazing job in that sense, and that there's like unlimited upside with almost no downside to someone who starts this business. So I've been super, super thankful for that. The second piece was like, she's just done such a good job, like balancing, friendships and family relationships. Of course, we're both so passionate about our products. When my friends come over, I go get my favorite products, like, because they all walk in, they're like, dude, your house smells so good. And then I'm like, yes, this is a perfect segue to talk about like what's super important to us.
What's
like,
not toxic.
Candidly, most of my friends are poor, so they can't afford to buy anything anyways. But so like, I know they're not going to put it in order, for Northern Lights Black Spruce, which is super expensive and my favorite oil in the whole world. So I show it to everybody. But so it's like, I love talking about it, but she does too. The difference is like, she talks about it more and publicly, and that is a big part of why her business is successful. So it's been great. Absolutely great.
We're going to read your next question. Okay, so the next question.
Yeah, we wrote all these before just to make sure I didn't drop any grenades in here.
What would you tell another husband whose wife is considering starting a business?
So I think I mentioned I work for a software company, but we build software for financial advisors. So I'm partially a software nerd, but I'm also partially a finance geek. So I love finance and investing. And the reason I love investing, which is like, when I say investing, I mean like buying ownership in companies, knowing that those companies will be worth more in the future, and the stake of the company you own will probably appreciate, therefore you earn a return on the capital you originally invested, right? So that, when I say investing, that's what I mean. Buying companies, public, researching private ones, etc., all that. So the reason that investing is such an amazing thing is because it gives you what's called leverage, right? Where you can take a limited amount of dollars that, if it just sat in your bank account, would never be worth more than that amount, right? So $100 invested in a bank account today is worth, not adjusted for inflation, 10 years from now, let's just say it's still worth $100, right? You have no upside by just holding your cash in your bank account. Now, if you invest in a company, there's a potential for upside, right? There's also potential for downside. And so what I'm working with every day is this idea of risk. And this idea of risk is like, how much downside am I risking in exchange for a shot at the upside of owning a company, right? This company, starting a business with an MLM, but more specifically Young Living, is amazing when you think about the possible upside you have in exchange for an almost non-existent downside, right? You have to put no upfront capital to start this business.
Well, you have to buy a starter kit, which is what you would want to anyways, if you were going to use oils in general, which is $125 or $165.
Yeah, that's true. So
you'd be, So
your downside is $100.
But the downside is, or what you're forking over, what you're pocketing, is product that you use yourself. So you're not going out and selling it. So technically there is no downside.
Yeah. So your downside is
loss.
At
There's
worst
no loss.
$125 a month.
No, $125 for starter kit.
$125.
$100 a month.
Which for her, we could go look at her comp sheet, but I think it was like within 3 months she had basically paid for that.
Yeah.
So there was a zero downside. So any husband who's like, I don't want my, I don't know if I want my wife like risking all of our money with this MLM. Like, if there is an MLM to risk any money on, it's this one, because the money is so minimal and the upside potential is so huge. Like the probability of your share of, let's say you bought Apple, going to $1 million, or let's talk about some crazy high risk investment for any investing nerds out there. Let's say you buy one share of Bitcoin or Dogecoin, which might be popular to some people because there was some big like, what's the app? TikTok. There was some big TikTok challenge to go buy Dogecoin on Robinhood. Like, let's say you drop $20 on Dogecoin. The probability of it going to $1 million is like 1 in a billion. The probability of like getting to silver at Young Living, I think, is like 2% of all people who enroll. So like that is an unreal probability to build an incredible, meaningful income with, again, almost no downside investment. So seriously, give it like some serious thought.
Okay, so
that's what I would say to
cost-wise,
husband.
But the other side of it is what we talked about is.
Oh, yeah. I mean.
So there's two sides of it. We talked about this the other night. So two sides of it that he wanted to share that.
Well, I can say it.
Okay.
You building a business is hard work. It takes grit. Like 3 years? 4 years for her to replace her previous full-time income. Almost 4 years. That's a long road, So she's been on this for 4 years to replace her previous full-time job income, and and no one's her boss. No one gets her up in the morning and cracks the whip and says, if you don't do these 6 things, you're not going to have a job tomorrow. So like all of her motivation has to come from inside. She has to drum up all of her excitement and energy internally. And, I would just say that just be honest if you have that, or if you think you can get that. And if you can't, I would say don't jump into this business if you're not going to surround yourself with a network of people that you think can help pull that out of you. which is a huge part of this business, I should say. It's like the support community you have. Like if you didn't have that
that's
internal motivation,
specific to my team.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
not everyone
Not
has
everyone.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say like if she didn't have, like let's say she rated 7 out of 10 on internal motivation, like her team might make up 2 out of 10, right? So that like between her and her team, she's operating at a 9. She's like a 9 out of the gate, right? So she like just, gets a little bit of extra energy from her team, but she's just so self-motivated that like, she probably doesn't need any, like, that's a terrible thing to say. I don't mean it like that, but she just works hard. So I think that's what I'd say is like, just know yourself, and be honest with like how much you're willing to grind, and then set your expectations based off of that. If you only want to work 2 hours a week, like probably maybe in 6 months you could replace your $100 spend, but if you're willing to grind, like you could replace your full-time income within just a few years, but that is a long time.
So I think that, and he's talking about replacing previous work that I got with my degree. So it's really beneficial. You don't have to have school to accomplish the same plus more.
Yeah, and that's true of any industry, right? Like the CEO of my not the CEO of my company. CEO of my company does have a college degree, but like my boss, who hired me when I started, who's wildly successful and has actually moved on from our company to work at an even bigger company, making even more money, doesn't have a college degree, right? So like there's tremendous opportunity for people who are entrepreneurially minded to like establish and build, something, especially in the modern age with, social media as a way to build a brand and promote product through your own channels.
So I think relationally for us, kind of something you touched on is wherever, whether you're husband or wife, whoever, spouse, whoever you are in the relationship, is to be honest with how you're feeling, and that I think I would lose some respect from him if I didn't follow through on the things that I said I was going to. So that might set and that's for a lot of things, but for us, I think it helped me to starting this business, to have his blessing and support for me to follow through on what I said I would. Because if I am going to go to one and then go to another and go, he's going to lose trust and belief in what I'm saying. Not that he'd lose belief in me, but that I'm not saying the same thing as I'm doing. So I'm going to guess that probably helped a lot. I knew myself, and I knew that I was supposed to do this, felt compelled to do this in a lot of different ways, which I'll talk about on a different one, but and I'm committed. So, and a lot of people with MLM specifically, a lot of people do give up because, like you mentioned, it is so much internal. And when you don't have someone who's your boss, which is exactly the reason why you want to join one, you want that freedom, but you're used to being, you're used to being an employee. So now I am my own boss. So now I have the freedom to choose what I want to do and how I want to do it. But I have no one telling me what to do and when to do. That you're used to fulfilling someone else's expectations, which is exactly why you want to get out of that. So it's just this cycle that you have to push forward if you want some change. So anyways, we're getting darker. Next question is, what is your role in my business?
Just a cheerleader. I make dinner every night.
Now, he did it before, but now lately it's glorious.
With the whole COVID thing, I'm work from home now full time all the time, so I make dinner every night.
It's
She's
the
not,
best thing ever.
honestly though, like that's a lot of nights she's not working while I'm making dinner. She's just hanging out with Fabian. I just like to cook because it's therapeutic for me.
And I don't like it, but I will do it because if he's working, then I'll cook, but
yeah,
I'd rather not.
All that to say, cooking has nothing to do with my role in the business.
Yeah, your role in my business
is cheerleader. I mean, seriously, that's it. She's so easy. I feel like I can't say that enough. She just does everything she says she's going to do every time. When she critiques herself, she actually does something about those critiques. When someone else critiques her, when she gets constructive feedback from someone up, in her upline, she takes that to heart and will actually make changes and implement things. I think these Wednesday recordings are because someone's challenged you to do these, and here you are doing them every week. So it's just, I'm a terrible person to ask these questions because it's so easy.
Which was not why we got on here.
No, it wasn't.
Not...
No, we did not set this up for me to just brag
I
on her
didn't
for
even
45
know he was
minutes.
going to say all of this.
But yeah, I didn't tell her my answers to these questions.
Yeah.
She just told me what they were going to be before.
But I want you guys to hear, anyone who wants to do this really can, but you do have to invest in personal growth. This call or this video was not entirely about business, but that is so ingrained in our lifestyle because
Yeah, it's just who we are.
No, I mean, I talk about the products. You can hear me if you want to look at this at my Instagram. You can see what I use, but we wanted to give you a good picture of what it's like with us, and him specifically and his view. And a lot of his view comes, yes, one, in using the products, but two, is hearing me talk and seeing me do the business every day.
Yeah, and I don't know if I should say this, but I just will because I feel like I'm supposed to. I've been super lucky in my career, and she's been able to jump into this with complete freedom because she hasn't had pressure to actually like make it work financially. And so I think that so all this for us is extra. Everything she makes is just bonus income. We actually just plow it into retirement savings. And I only say that because I think there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, man, or maybe there's women listening that are like, man, I wish I could have that freedom if my husband would just figure out. And so the reason I'm saying this is like I'm open. I love to talk to anybody about that. Like how can you think about like increasing your income in a professional workplace? I'm not an MLM person. I work for an employer. Like I am a W-2 employee. My boss could fire me tomorrow. I'm on a salary. So like I'm not one of these successful business owners. But I work for an amazing company and I've managed to, do well for myself working for an employer. And so if there's anybody who's a husband out there who's like, I can't get out of this, $15 an hour gig. I'm trying so hard to find new avenues. Like just hit us up. I'm on Instagram. I think it's just Dane Kurtz. I don't even have the app on my phone, but I'll download it after this and keep it for a week. And if anybody messages me is like, hey, I'd love to just chat about how you grow your income. Like that's something that I'm also really passionate about. It's just like helping husbands, provide for their families so that their wives do have freedom to do stuff like this. Take risks that have huge potential upside. Anyways.
And this came from, going back to what he's talking about, but the tangent was that the reason we are where we are it started out of a conviction. He felt really strongly to make, there's so many things I could say on this, but yeah.
We should have another.
We'll have another call.
We're already at 45 minutes, so we should probably pause this and
we'll talk about it later. But it was birthed out of a conviction that he wanted to do what a lot of people think is very old school, and gave me the freedom to be a stay-at-home mom, do whatever beyond that. But both of us wanted that. Even without this was a conviction even before Young Living. So, but it just came out of, he knew deeply that is what he wanted to do. And so it's not necessarily, it wasn't like, oh, we're making enough money, now you can stay at home. He made it happen because he wanted me to be able to stay at home. Because the path we were on before this was not going to go the same direction. There was quite a shift for him to be where he is. So anyways, last question.
Of course. We have to talk about my favorite products.
Yeah, something that most of you have probably wanted from the beginning. What are his favorite products?
Yeah, 2 products that I like.
3.
Couldn't live without.
Oh, you already talked about one.
The third I love, could live without it, but 2 that I cannot live without. Northern Lights Black Spruce, we diffuse every night before bed.
During all night.
I turn into a pumpkin at 9:30. So 9:30 hits usually. I half asleep, walk myself up the stairs, take my contacts out, brush my teeth, just fall over in bed half asleep, and then our Siri is talking to us for some reason.
Just leave it.
Siri,
just keep
stop.
Talking.
Or what is that? Alexa,
just
stop.
Keep talking.
So I'll be half asleep, and then half asleep around 10 o'clock, I'll just smell that Northern Lights Black Spruce, and it's just I can't even tell you. Like it's the best smell in the whole world. There's a lot of like wood smells, tree smells, but there's something about Northern Lights black spruce that it's like the most authentic tree smell. It's incredible. Anyways, it is expensive, but if you're looking for something to diffuse at night, it is like a hands down the best oil they make. The CBD muscle rub. I'm a squatting junkie. I love to squat at the gym. Not great for your knees and your back. And so, but I just can't stop. So the CBD muscle rub for my knees is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's got an oil in it that gives you like that icy hot feeling.
And it's Panaway.
Panaway plus the CBD, which is like just takes the pain away. So like that's amazing for like my knees when they're swollen or sore from squatting big. And then I love to add flavor to my water. I'm a sparkling water junkie, and so we have one of those sparkling water makers. I can't remember the Soda Stream, and so putting Citrus Fresh in any water is just like it's amazing. It's the way to make water taste way better. So we live in the suburbs
it's great for your
of the
liver.
city, so the water tastes bad, and so it's nice to have something good. Anyways.
And it's great for your liver, so he knew that and wanted to use it for that as well.
Northern Lights Black Spruce, the CBD muscle rub, and
but you like the
Citrus Fresh
CBD dropper as well.
Yeah, it's great for sleep, but
Specifically the CBD
the
rub.
muscle rub is like
Loves it.
the best thing.
Well, that is it. I think we covered
Yeah,
more
we were like nervous we couldn't do 30 minutes and we just rambled for 45. So.
Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, we got a question.
You're so sweet to come on here and ask. Okay, did you use something for your muscles before the CBD? What kind of a difference did you notice when you started using it, and how often do you apply it?
I didn't use, so I was an ibuprofen kind of guy before.
Well, okay, I was just gonna say it because maybe you don't remember. So when he became aware, this isn't really quite your question, but when he became aware of the pain that he was dealing with, he started looking into all holistic types.
Yeah.
So changed diet.
This is a hard question to answer because, so to answer your question specifically, because I want to do that because I hate it when people don't actually address the question. I was an ibuprofen user before, found out that wasn't good for you, so I switched to the CBD roller and rub, and I really love it. Like you will feel pain relief on whatever part of your body you put it on immediately. So if you put it on before bed, it's just like it takes away the ache, and it'll help you fall asleep. It's hard to say how much of a difference it made though, because I changed my diet, my exercise routine, how much I stretch, my hydration, and the CBD usage all at the same time. So I wouldn't know if it was eliminating processed foods that actually decreased joint and knee pain, if it was the increased stretching, if it was the fact that I started being more disciplined about my squatting posture, or if it was the CBD rub. So sorry, I don't know exactly.
But when you use it, you feel a difference.
It's awesome. It's like one of those things you can feel when you use it immediately. Yeah. So yeah.
And there are two different kinds of, so there's a starter kit, there's a CBD starter kit in two different strengths. So he uses the lower strength because I thought he asked for me to buy it, so I bought it. And he said just to start with the lower. And so what he's talking about is the lower one. He's feeling a difference with that one.
I use it like 3 times a week, basically after every lift.
Cool. Well, do you guys have any more questions?
Oh.
Anyone else? I'll just give you a minute. Cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, if you message me, there's no way to know that it is Dane talking, but I can ask him since this was all really about him. So thank you for watching.
See you guys.